As games develop from simple concepts such as Snake to games with characters with immersive backstories alongside improved graphics and action, the gamer population has been steadily rising over the years. But a recent review showed that 3 to 4% of gamers worldwide are addicted to video games, with gaming addiction defined as engaging in gameplay for at least 15 to 20 hours each week. While I don't think 3 hours of gaming a day is detrimental, it could be indicative of an addiction forming, especially for the younger population. But why are games so addicting to play? Is it the elixir pump begging to be collected? Is it the desire to be the very best? Is it getting a new skin? Is it giving a fatal blow? Is it to finish him off? Is it when the game reminds you of the time you wasted? Is it the sound of the hit marker? Is it this sound? With more reasons to be addicted than not, I'll be going through the 7 levels of gaming addiction. Level 1 of gaming addiction is when gaming takes up the majority of your time and attention, and you look forward to the time you can play it again. At this stage, despite your brain being preoccupied, thinking about strategies all the time, you play games in moderation, and it doesn't affect your life significantly. You'll play with friends with a healthy amount of competition, and you might play a little bit extra during your free time to one-up each other. At level 2, you start to either actively make more time for games, or neglect previous hobbies and obligations. Since you've been playing the game for a while now, you need to play it for a greater amount of time to get a similar level of enjoyment as you did in level 1. You might notice that it becomes increasingly harder to level up in games with the level system. For example, in Pokemon Go, you'll need 1000 XP to level up from level 1 to level 2. But you'll need 30 million XP to level up from level 49 to 50. That's a lot of walking. So in order to get the dopamine hit of leveling up and receiving cool items, you'll need to put in an exponential amount of time as you progress in these sorts of games. When we engage in real life activities, the effort and time that we put in is not guaranteed to pay off. Whereas, one of the appeals of some games is that if you plant a carrot, it'll grow a carrot. If you grind long enough to farm XP to level your character up, you will eventually be able to beat the boss. The real world is a bit different. To give an example, you could spend days, weeks, or months studying for an exam, but the XP bar is invisible, and you aren't guaranteed to do well. And you could equate practicing a math question for grinding XP in games. But the difference is, you don't get to turn a Weedle into Ash in differential equations. So at level 3, you start to like the game more than you like it in real life, and try to spend more time gaming where you can. At level 4, the game starts to significantly be part of your identity. It fulfills the goal and purpose that you've adopted, and you'll work endlessly to get that next thing. Here, you start skipping meals and begin sacrificing sleep quantity and quality. It'll be normal for you to stay up all night with empty tubs of G Fuel and cans of Mountain Dew. You'll wake up from your 1 hour sleep tired and forced to go to school or work. The people around you start to tell you that it's not good for you, you should get more sleep, touch grass. But hey, you're the one in Platinum with a 2.4 KD and a 3400 combat power Mewtwo, so who's really winning? At level 5, you start to lose control of playing the game, and you feel like you can't stop gaming. You might try to cut back by setting time limits, giving yourself a hard stop at 10 PM. But what usually happens is that the match just ended, your team lost, and you're a little frustrated that you had to carry the team all by yourself. And you look over and it's 9:52. You still have 8 more minutes of self-allocated game time, and you're confronted with 2 options. Option A, knowing that if you start a new game, the match would finish after 10 PM. So even though there's still 8 minutes left, you're going to take the more responsible, mature option of quitting the game early and instead maybe read a book. With this option, you played a good amount of games and you spent some time reading a book before going to sleep. 3 birds, 1 stone. Option B. There's 8 minutes left, so I still have time to play another game. What's one more game? Just one more. It won't take over 8 minutes. I'll actually try this game and we'll win straight rounds. And of course at 10, it's mid-game and you're losing. If you quit now, you'd actually be ruining the gaming experience of everyone else on the team. So you convince yourself you can't stop playing. And when this game ends at 10:34, you think, what's an uneven time? It'll be weird if I stopped at 10:34. I'm going to round up and end on a clean number. I'll stop at 11. And this line of conversation will go on subconsciously until the morning. At level 6 of gaming addiction, there are now obvious negative consequences. You've upgraded all your gamer gear, so you won't be at a disadvantage. But in real life, this decision financially set you back, and you lost your job. But as long as you keep playing the game, it's not at the forefront of your mind, and you don't have to think about it. At least, not now. The final level of gaming addiction is when you basically become one with the game, and everything and anything else is categorized as either a distraction or a chore. Hungry and want to eat? Distraction. Thirsty after dry scooping G Fuel? Also a distraction. And you know that if you do decide to eat or drink, both of these activities will result in a greater frequency to go to the bathroom, which is a chore, and time not spent on grinding to get the extra win. There is no longer any regard for hygiene, and instead opting for jorts instead, providing better cooling and airflow to prevent the sweat building up on your secret lab gaming chair. The blackout curtains remove any indication of the time of day, and instead time is now dictated by wins, levels, or a form of currency obtained. You develop a visible dent on the top of your head from the chronic use of headphones. But this doesn't stop you from thinking when the game loads in between matches. You sit in silence for a brief moment, thinking about where it all went wrong, and regret playing the game in the first place. You remember it started off as a fun distraction serving as a temporary escape from reality, but now you find yourself not enjoying the game, instead bitter and hateful. But you keep playing the game because the alternative of facing reality is a lot scarier than playing against someone a couple hundred elos ahead of you in chess. You wish you had the courage to turn the PC or console off and do something else. But doing something else is both a distraction and a chore, and the loading screen fades away to another game. Most who are addicted to games, or those who want to reduce their time gaming, all know what needs to be done. Step 1, stop playing. Step 2, delete the game. Step 3, delete the account. Step 4, get rid of any triggers including communities, forums, anything that mentions the game. Step 5, find other things to treat as a video game. A common mistake in quitting a game is to just stop at level 1 and to just stop playing the game. But this is the equivalent of telling a smoker to quit smoking or an alcoholic to stop drinking. Sure, they might realize that they're engaging in destructive habits for a brief period of time, but chances are, without following the other steps or taking additional action that works best for them, most will inevitably relapse. It could be argued that step 1 is the easiest step in the journey to quit gaming long term. This is because steps 2 and 3 would mean forfeiting all the sunk costs associated with gaming. All the time you spent grinding levels, achievements, items, wins, the money you spent to play the game, the money you spent in-game, the money you spent to play the game well, would all feel like it'll be going to waste if you delete the game and your account. Because of this, it's difficult not to get stuck in the sunk cost fallacy, the phenomenon where a person is reluctant to abandon a course of action because they have invested heavily in it, even when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. Steps 3 and 4 can also be hard since you lose the comfort of the familiar community and people that you played the game with, and it's often difficult to find new interests when a particular game was your identity for so long, making quitting gaming a difficult task. Like with all addictions, the best time to quit isn't tomorrow or the next year, but instead now, and you'll thank yourself tomorrow.